post-match chat with Chapz for that Millwall podcast, where it's just finished at Kenilworth Road, Luton Town 2, Millwall 2. And in all honesty, I think it's probably a fair result. But I just want to start off by saying a massive, honestly, shout out to those of you that travelled tonight. You were amazing from the first whistle to the end. You were just outstanding, and it was loud, and for everyone to hear on the Sky channels tonight. So a massive well done to all of you that travelled. Right, let's get into the game then. So I think, look, you can look at it a few different ways, right? You can look at it and say it's a 2-0 lead that we've squandered. You can look at it and say that there's some poor defending from our side to particularly for the second goal. But I think context is key here, right? The squad that we've got is absolutely paper thin. We'll come on to the starting 11 in a moment, but obviously George Saville not being available is a big miss for us, and it's just another body that we don't have. And I think any Millwall fan would have taken, I certainly would have done. I said in my post-match of the previous game against Stoke that we drew 2-2 against Luton last season, and I would have taken the same scoreline, and we've ended up with that. It's just disappointing how it's happened. So I think context is key here, but let's get into it. So the lineup is basically the same 1-11 as the game against Stoke, which I did think we'd struggle to go again, given the amount of energy we've expended over the last few games. Except for one key change, which was George Saville coming out of the squad completely. So I'm assuming he's injured. I don't have any more information. And then Ryan Leonard coming into the starting lineup. And Ryan Leonard's had quite a good few cameo appearances in the last few games as a substitute. So an opportunity for him to start the game. The other welcome news was that Oliver Burke and Duncan Watmore were back on the bench, which was really welcome, which obviously replaced Saville being part of the squad and Sebastian Drod, who was one of the under-21s called up for the Stoke game. So that's the squad. We start the game, and after 3 minutes, we take the lead, and it happens by essentially a long ball forward. Bradshaw, a good flick on. He's good at that for someone of his build and his stature. To Fleming, and Fleming's shot's weak, but it's on target. And all the time you put a shot on target, something can happen. The goalkeeper completely fumbles it, and it ends up in the back of the net. Should never really have been a goal. Not even a clear-cut chance in my view. But it sneaks into the back of the net, and we're 1-0 up after just 3 minutes. And again, similar to Stoke, an early lead, and you know that we're good at defending these. I think the key difference is between what happened against Stoke and what happened tonight is Luton are a good side. And they've got some really good attacking players, and they play a really nice style of football. But for the first 45 minutes, there are obviously no more goals, and largely we defend quite well. They have a penalty shout that arguably could have been given. But I think other than that, there's not really many clear-cut chances at either end. And we go into half-time with a 1-0 lead. As I said, similar to Stoke, score of our only shot of the first half. And we're sitting pretty at half-time. We come out, and the second half, I felt they put it on us a little bit more. I felt they were definitely more aggressive in their attacking play and more front foot. I felt that they were definitely unlucky to be behind. Let's be honest about that. But they hadn't really created enough to pull that goal back. And then through an unlikely breakaway again, and to be honest, it is offside from what I've seen. We score our second goal, and it's good play from I think Danny Mack to start with. Really good play from Danny Mack. 1-2 with Honeyman. A crossfield ball from Danny Mack over to I think Vogel Sammer. It makes his way back out to Honeyman, who plays it across the goal, and then Bradshaw's there to tap it into an empty net. And we're 2-0 up. And if I'm honest, we don't deserve it. And we can all sit there and say that, oh, we do, we've played well, but we haven't, right? We haven't really played particularly well. We haven't played badly, but we've played how I expected us to play, which is a team that are threadbare, that are trying their best to put together a decent performance against a good side away from home, but somehow we find ourselves 2-0 up. And as I say, those 2 goals, one of them should never have gone in. The keeper's made a big cock up. And then the second goal is offside. So we're 2-0 up against a good side away from home. And based on that, we would somehow find ourselves in 4th place, which is just absolutely remarkable when you think about it. However, not long much later, a shot comes in. I don't know who it was. Was it from Collywood Road? I'm not quite sure. Shot comes in. It's actually a really good save from George Long. He sort of pushes it onto the bar, and Elijah Adebayo reacts quickest and taps it into an empty net. And it's 2-1. And to be honest, it's what Luton deserved. They deserved their goal back, just through the amount of pressure and opportunities they had. Nothing clear cut, but the opportunities they had. And in fairness, they probably could have had a penalty. So at that stage, you're thinking, fair enough, it's 2-1, and we just need to see the game out. And we're usually pretty good at this, as we know. We really rarely do we concede 1 goal, let alone 2, from a leading position. However, unfortunately, we do. And the sucker punch comes, I think it's in the 82nd minute, where Luke Berry is allowed too much time and space, particularly by Sean Hutchinson, and he sort of, I've seen a few people on Twitter say about Jules Long, I don't know, I think that would be unfair. I think he sort of is right in the bottom corner. It's a good finish from Luke Berry, and it's 2-2. And then from that point, there's a couple of sort of half chances from each team, but the game kind of fizzles out, and it ends up finishing Luton 2, Millwall 2, and it's If you strip all the emotion back, you strip out the way in which the goals fell, I think that I personally, and I think any Millwall fan, thinking logically, would have taken a 2-2 draw tonight. With the context being the squad, the games we've had, the amount of energy we've had to expend in the last few games, I think a 2-2 draw at Luton is not a bad result. What I will say is that I felt that particularly their second goal was preventable. I think Hutch has to do a little bit better. I know he's coming back into the side, and I'm a big Hutch fan. I think he's been an absolute stalwart for us over the years. But I think he needs to get closer to Luke Berry there. And also, listen, I'm not going to slag Gary Rowett off, because I think he's been phenomenal for us. But I am allowed to say when I personally think, and I'm no manager, that he's made a wrong decision, and I think he got the subs wrong tonight. He made 2 subs. The first 2 subs he made was George Evans and Scott Malone coming on, replacing Jamie Shackleton and who was it? It shows you how much I remember. It was Attacker that came off. Was it Bradders? I think it was Bradders. Sorry, it was Bradders. So I'm not with it tonight. I've worked late and I've watched the game, and this is where we end up. So apologies, guys. He makes 2 substitutions, which I don't see personally why he's made those substitutions. I think that the way in which Luton play is they were trying to really overflow the midfield, and then they play really, really wide. So putting on Hutchinson as a third centre-back, to me, personally, doesn't make sense. I don't think that we were being particularly troubled by that. I think that, they were more of a threat coming from midfield. So personally, taking a midfield body off to put another defender on, I don't quite understand. The next point is bringing on George Evans for an attacker. For me, if you're going to take Shackleton off because for whatever reason he's run out of gas, then you replace him for a like for like. The same with Tom Bradshaw. If Tom Bradshaw comes off, you put Oliver Burke on. I don't quite get those substitutions. And like I said, Gary Rowett's been amazing for us in the last few weeks. And like I said, context is key. We've drawn away at Luton. This is not a bad result. I just think that the substitutions didn't make sense for me. And if it was up to me, I would not have brought Evans on. I would not have brought Hutch on. What I would have done is I would have, if he wanted to go 5 at the back, then bring on Malone and put Murray in the middle to not disrupt the continuity of it. I don't think he needed to go 5 at the back. And if you want to take Tom Bradshaw off, put Oliver Burke through the middle, which he later on did. So I felt the substitutes were off. But listen, I'm no football manager. And at the end of the day, yes, we've thrown away a 2-0 lead. But ultimately, it's against a very, very good side that I think will be in and around the playoff areas. So it's frustrating. And it's one of those ones whereas if we were gone 2-0 down and we come back and drawn 2-2, then you'd have a completely different outlook on it, wouldn't you? So I think that's probably where we are. But look, I think, as I say, I'd have personally taken it before the game. Luton away and at home to Norwich are 2 of the more difficult games we've got in our run-in. So if we can avoid defeat, and I said this in my Stoke post-match interview, I think we'd have done well. We move to Saturday. Again, don't know what bodies we'll have back. Don't know if Savile will be back. I would imagine the likes of Mitchell, Styles, Bennett won't be available. But it's pleasing to see that both Burke and Watmore were kind of on the bench. So let's see what squad we have. But I think the other key thing to remember is Norwich haven't played a game this week. So they've got a much bigger squad. They're also the highest paying wage squad in the league, which is just another random stat. And it will be a tough ask. So I think we all need to get down there on Saturday and support the lads because they're going to need it. Because I think to go Saturday, Tuesday, and against the opposition we're playing, it's not just the velocity of games, it's against the opposition we're playing. I think we're going to need everything we can on Saturday. So just to kind of go through the players and sort of my view on their ratings. So I don't think George Long did anything wrong at all. I don't think he's at fault for the second goal, and I thought he made a very good save for the first goal that ended up going in the back of the net. So I thought George Long had a decent game. I thought Murray Wallace was okay. Started off really poorly, but I think he grew into the game. My man of the match is essentially one of the next three. I thought that, again, Jake Cooper and Charlie Cresswell didn't put foot wrong. I thought they defended superbly and resolutely. The amount of balls into the box they cleared up, headed away. They're just colossal. Honestly, they're both absolutely superb. And Cresswell rightly retained his place in the starting lineup today. I thought they were superb, and I thought Danny Mack was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant defensively. He really kind of got into Alfie Doughty straight away in that battle, and I think he won that battle with Alfie Doughty, who's in a really hot vein of form at the moment. So I thought Danny Mack was really, really good as well. And as I also credited, God, I can't speak tonight, sorry. Also credited him for the attack and build-up play that led to that second goal for us. So my man of the match is one of those three. I can't pick it. It'd be one of those three: Cooper, Cresswell, or Danny Mack. I thought were all superb. I'd probably give it to Danny Mack if I had to pick one. Shackleton, I like Shackleton, and he's very busy, but sometimes he sort of buzzes all over the place, but sometimes he buzzes out of position too much. And that's something I've noticed. I do like him. I think he just needs to... It's almost like he's got a short attention span because he sort of sometimes buzzes out of position a little bit. But I thought he was okay. Again, probably the 90 minutes and things are catching up. I think Leonard, again, context is key here. When you consider... He's been out for a while. He's only played 20 minutes. He's played in all sorts of positions. I thought Leonard had a good game. I really did. And there was a tackle in the first half that he got pulled up for that I'll never know why. I thought he was good. Ryan Leonard, when you consider, he went down with cramp after sort of 80 or so minutes. Whether that was time wasted or not, I don't know. But I thought Ryan Leonard was good. And I really do believe he's a valuable member of the squad to have in the squad. I know he's injury prone, but I think he can fill in a lot of positions and fill in the position very well. So I thought he was good. I thought Fleming was brilliant. I thought Fleming was really, really good. And he's just, I mean, it's nothing we haven't said before. He's so strong. He's composed. He can bring others into play. Spots the right pass most of the time. But then he'll take a free kick like he did, I think, in the second half, and he'll blaze it 20 yards over the bar. So, but he is a class above Zian Fleming, and I think most Millwall fans appreciate that. And I thought he was really, really good tonight. Again, I think the last sort of 4 games, Coventry game he was poor, but I think most people were. But since the Sheffield United game, I think he's been brilliant. And I thought he was really good tonight. And I guess he sort of, after those 3 defenders that I mentioned, he'd be right up there for man of the match. Bradshaw did what he does, chased down, worked hard, was in the right place at the right time to score a goal. 12th goal of the season. You can't argue with that. You know, everyone was sort of saying, and I like Colton Morris. I really like Colton Morris, who plays for Luton. And there's quite a few people that said we should have signed him in the summer. And I'm one of them, by the way. I think we should have gone for him. But if I'm not mistaken, Bradshaw has now scored more goals than Colton Morris. And when you think about Colton Morris is probably worth now sort of 2-3 million, you know, you I think you start to appreciate Tom Bradshaw more. So I think we need to put a bit of respect on Mr. Bradshaw's name. He's in a very good reign of scoring form at the moment, and always works hard for the team. But I think he's visibly also very tired. And then the 2 wide men, Honeyman, did well without being spectacular. I thought, obviously I gave him man of the match against Stoke, but I thought he was good tonight. Grew into the game. I think his first half was a little bit poor, but I think he grew into the game. And then Vogie, I can't make my mind up. I'll be honest, I really can't. I see fans that say he's really underappreciated, and I see fans that say he's absolutely shite. So I don't know. I can't make my mind up. At times tonight, where he had opportunities to do things simple, I think it was a couple of times where the ball come across the box and he swiped it and completely missed it. You do think to yourself, you know, you should be doing better there. But then sometimes every team needs a player that, all right, maybe he's not the greatest, but is willing to play in any position you put him in and will give absolutely everything for the team. And maybe Vogie's that player. I don't know. He's not the worst player that has ever played for Millwall. He's not the best player that's ever played for Millwall. But I think he gives his all. And he's all right. I think is the way I would summarise him. And then the substitutes, I've already talked about. Hutch seems a little bit rusty at the moment, but I guess they're trying to drip feed him back into the equation. And then the other ones, to be honest, I can't really call. They made no impact. I don't really understand why he brought Evans on, as I've already said. So look, I'm gonna kind of stop there in terms of the overall players. I think let's just have a bit of context here. Let's not start whinging and moaning. It's still a 2-2 draw against a team that are very, very good. Yes, all right, the home record's not as great. But in reality, we've had a bit of luck from officials this week, which we don't normally have. We've had a bit of luck from a goalkeeper mistake. We've walked away with a 2-2. It's not the end of the world. They gain no ground on us. We're still 5th. And we go again on Saturday, a massive game that we need everyone down there at the Den on Saturday against Norwich. So, look, I think given where we are, I think we should be really, really proud of the players continuing on the form. We're still unbeaten and we're still sitting pretty in the playoffs. And with 12 games to go, I think it is, we should be happy with that, right? And on paper, we have the easiest run-in out of the top 8 teams. So let's see what happens. Look, I'll leave it there. It's probably not been as polished tonight because I've worked very late. I literally turned the game on, bang on 8 o'clock. Lucky, really, because obviously we scored so early. It's been a long day. So apologies if it's not as polished as normal. I want to say thank you again for all of the nice comments and points of view that everyone puts in the chat. I do read them all. Sometimes I don't reply to all of them, but I just want to make you aware that I do read them all. I appreciate it. Please do like, share, subscribe. It's all good for the channel. And I want to give a shout out to my man Bobby as well. You know who I'm talking about, mate. Mr. Creed himself. If anyone needs a Creed aftershave, go and see him in Selfridges. He's an absolute legend. And thank you for the comment, mate, on the last chat. So I'll leave it there. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back with my post-match against Norwich, who I think, although we're knackered, I think we can beat them. So I'll see you down the den. Bye for now.